Hey, I'm Connie.
And I'm Connie.
And we are
Bad News Travels Fast.
So, hey guys, we've been off a week, kind of, sort of. Did we release an episode last week?
2 weeks.
Okay, it's been like 2 weeks. So, we apologize that we didn't let you guys know we were going to be off for 2 weeks, but some people over here, not saying no names, was out of town like 2 weeks in a row. So that's why we
out of town 2 weeks in a row. The fingers that get pointed. Oh,
I was out of town the week before, and then she won't go out of town after me. Like, no, it's not. No,
my bad.
No, actually, we just appreciate you still being with us, even though we were on a break. So thank you so much for that. We did some celebrations with family, and we had a good time these last few weeks. So here we are again. Please like, share, and subscribe. And what are we talking about today?
I think something that's kind of been in the media for a little while was...
Oh, your nails are nice.
Oh, thank you. They need to be done. I need a filling. Anyway, don't look at them. The anti-Asian violence bill that was passed, and I am all for it. I think that there should not be violence against any nationality, not Asians, not Caucasians, not Blacks, not Hispanics, not, I'm missing something, Chinese. But I think that the things that have been happening recently is just that the bill was signed in like 3 weeks, and the George Floyd bill, it passed House, but the Senate hasn't voted on it. And this was an executive order that happened so abruptly, which I'm glad that things move out. I'm very grateful that something has been done, but I think it's crazy because there are so many bills about African Americans that has been trying to get passed, and no executive order has been signed. And given the fact that we were told that, like, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black. And what are we doing for the Black votes? What are we doing for African Americans?
Do you have you don't have I was trying to look it up, the legislation for the Asian hate.
I can find it because it was sent to me.
Okay. All right. So while you're looking at that, I guess I will respond a little bit. So as far as, okay, so when they came out with the No Asian Hate, I was a little bit surprised, I guess. They showed a couple. So so this is what I want to say. There's always going to be abusers out there, right? And so for some of the instances, you had like someone come and push someone over, or just start attacking them out of nowhere. And for some of those instances, you saw that the person attacking had mental health problems.
Mm-hmm.
So, or was just like a little off, like not all the way there, I would say. And so I think they used those opportunities to call it Asian hate when we don't know if the person was attacked because they were Asian or if they were attacked because they were in the vicinity. Mm-hmm. Because there's other things that have taken place. I mean, if you actually watch the news, or if you like, for instance, I don't necessarily watch the regular news, but I do watch different newses in different areas, like on YouTube. So, for instance, there was some other attacks that happened to some young Black boys, some young Black girls in New York. I mean, you know, there were, it seems like in this season, it's a lot of violence happening. And so we can't necessarily say that because the person was Asian, it is Asian hate. Because the person was Black, it was Black hate. And I know we hate hearing that from white people when they say, well, you don't know if it was racist or not. You get what I'm saying? But I think the media used the opportunity to shine a light on, I'll say, Asian hate. There is bullying out there of all races. There's Asian hate, there's white hate, black hate, there's all the hates. All the hates are out there. And so that, I'm not saying that to discredit Asian hate, but if we are going to quote unquote compare, when I feel like black hate, you cannot compare to anyone else's hate.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I think you can't compare to anyone else's hate is because it has been written from the beginning of time concerning our nation. Now, I do recognize that there is racism in all of the other nations. We recognize that with the George Floyd situation, and we heard stories about there being racism in other countries, but we're just discussing our country. From the very beginning, the Constitution, it was written in our Constitution. Racism was written in our Constitution. So not to even go through all the, we were 3/5 of a person. We weren't even human. There were a lot of laws that everything written in the Constitution was not pertaining to us.
Mm-hmm.
It was pertaining to, and women.
And women, yeah.
It was pertaining to white men.
Mm-hmm.
We have kept that Constitution.
We have.
We still abide by that Constitution.
With a few amendments, but it hasn't changed
with a few amendments.
Right.
So I think that what really, when you find out that you've sown a seed and it has come up, a lot of times it was a bad seed you sowed. You got to go dig up the whole seed, because what will happen is you'll yank up that plant, and another piece, that plant will be there the next season. You'll be like, I ripped that up. What happened? You didn't get all the roots.
Right.
So because you didn't, my thoughts are, we need to start fresh. We need to start from scratch. Let's destroy our Constitution. Yes, I'm saying that.
And start all over.
I know that sounds crazy. And start all over with everyone in mind. Okay? So then we can't lean on the racism of it all concerning our nation. Racism is inherent. What do I mean? I inherit racism by my country. When I go to school, I might notice that the teacher talks aggressively to African Americans. She talks a little nicer to the white students. Or let's just say has more patience with the white students. Now,
or the other students.
Or any other student.
Mm-hmm.
So I might not recognize that like, oh, she's been, but it gets in my spirit that something is wrong with the brown students, and something is better with the white students. Mm-hmm. Even with that, I forget the name of that test they did.
Oh, the experiment, the black and the white doll, and who's better?
Yes. Mm-hmm. You got elementary school kids thinking that the white was better.
Or
and no one told them that white was better.
It's like unspoken. It's that's what you talk about, the inherent, right?
So that's what I mean by inherent. We inherently take on racism as a country. So with black and white, with Asian hate, I'm a little concerned. I'm always concerned with how they portray black people on media. So there was like a couple weeks where they were saying, where's Black Lives Matter now? Why aren't the black people saying anything about Asian hate? Blah, blah, blah. And if you are someone who buys hair like me, I've got a wig on right now. You've probably gone into an Asian store to buy product, and you've probably experienced racism.
Why don't you tell that thing that you told me that when somebody talking about how they grew up, like they grew up to dislike us?
Well, so they had it was four Asians, and they had like a Zoom call where they were talking about what they can do as far as like the Asian hate, and also the whole Black Lives Matter situation.
Okay.
And the lady was saying so they had different ages on there. I think it was like maybe, let's say 22 all the way up to maybe the 40s. There were two or three people on there who were saying that in Asia, and I can't remember where they were all from, but let's just say, I think she was Chinese, I want to say. She said, we were taught to hate Black people. We were taught to hate them. We were taught to be more like white people. We were taught that the United States is the best place to be. And this is really taught everywhere. We learn that even like with the Africans. They always want to come over to the U.S. because they feel like it's the land of the free. That's what the home of the brave, the land of the free, right?
Yes.
So everyone, all these other nations are looking at the U.S. as the example. And the example is white is right. And it is shown white men have stature. They have stature and they have status. So when you come over here, a lot of things are run by, mostly everything, media, movies, all that, majority run by white men. So they were taught, even in school, she said, that to hate, that we were beneath them. Not only her, though, I know even some, are they Mexican? I want to say Mexican. A Mexican person that I was cleaning for, they were also taught the same thing. So they were always taught, you know, even with like relationships and whatnot, you can get in a relationship with anybody but them Black folks.
It's funny because it's this thing that it says the color of race, and it's a video, and it's different nationalities on there. There's Hispanics, there's Black, there's Caucasian, there's Japanese and Chinese, and they talked about the hate, but they also talked about not standing up for each other, like the other races and what they're taught. So I think that's interesting that you say that, and very true. I want to, for a moment, read to our audience President Biden's opening statement when he got ready to do the bill. And so it says, too many Asian Americans have been walking up and down the streets and worrying, waking up each morning the past year, feeling their safety and the safety of their loved ones are at stake. They've been attacked, blamed, scapegoated, and harassed. They've been verbally assaulted, physically assaulted, killed. The conversation we had today with the AAPI leaders, and that we're hearing all across the country, is that hate and violence often hide in plain sight. And it is often met with silence. That's been true throughout our history. But that has to change, because our silence is complacency. We cannot be complacent. We have to speak out. We have to act. And then I'll leave this last. It says, across our nation, the outpouring of grief and outrage continues at the horrific violence and xenophobia perpetrated against Asian American communities, especially Asian American women and girls. As President Biden said during his first primetime address, an anti-Asian violence and xenophobia is wrong. It is un-American, and it must stop.
So they were able to pass that in a few weeks.
Yeah.
And we can't pass anything of that nature concerning African Americans.
None.
Now, I think what we should not do, though, we shouldn't compare. But at the same time, this should trouble us. Because something should have been done a long time ago concerning African Americans. And why is it still not being done today in 2000? I mean, why is it not being done, especially even with what we keep seeing is, you know, people keep getting murdered in police custody who are unarmed. And a lot of times you'll see videos of Caucasians. They're armed and they're still not getting murdered.
They be shooting at you.
And they're still not getting murdered.
They make it home.
I think we shouldn't compare, because what ends up happening is it makes it look like I'm for Asian hate. No, I'm not for
Right,
Asian hate.
absolutely
I'm not for no hate.
Right.
I really have a problem with bullying, hate.
I have a problem with how they treat the
violence.
Mexicans at the border and separating the kids. I have an issue
Oh
with
my
all
gosh.
of that.
All of it. And I don't feel like just because I've experienced, let's say, consistent racism with Asians, I don't think that they should get that back.
Yeah, no.
I do think that things should change, though. I think that there has been hate against all of the races, all of them. You know, stuff happened with the Japanese. I forget what war that was. I mean, there was so many, the Native Americans, so many things that you could say Caucasian men. and not to hate on Caucasian men, not to hate on them. But there's been a lot done as far as white supremacy to all the other races.
Right. And I don't think we're even comparing. It's just, it is out in the open. I think it is so big. We're not even oblivious to the fact that our lives are not important and what has happened to us is not important. I think that's the main theme. One of the actors, I can't think of his name, talked about how there is like, there's this thing going with, stop Asian hate. And there's no opposition.
None.
There's nobody saying, no, stop all hate.
Right.
No one's saying that. But the moment you say a Black Life Matters, it's all lives matter. Correct. But all lives are not being affected the same way. And you'll have
Black people even saying, all lives matter.
Right. I used to be one of them people. And I'm not saying that all lives don't matter, but comparably, when African American lives are being taken and everybody is seeing it, it's been happening. It's just publicized right now, and nothing is being done. So there was nothing wrong with what President Biden said about how Asian Americans are feeling. Nothing wrong with what he said about how they're feeling. I'm just thinking like African Americans been feeling this for 400 years. And nothing, and nothing has been done. And this was an executive order he made, right? But the George Floyd bill was passed by the House in March. Senate hasn't voted on it. So it wasn't, to me, it didn't seem important enough to do this.
The anti-lynching bill.
None of that.
Yeah.
Right. It's nothing, not important enough to make an executive order that does not have to go through Congress and the Senate in order to make us feel safe to walk up and down the street, to get stopped or whatever.
Now that's what I actually thought that was going to happen, because when he was running, they ran on, we're gonna fix this situation of hate against Black people, blah blah blah.
Right. That was that was your whole campaign strategy.
Right. So when he was signing the every day they're like, oh, he signed this many, executive orders, this and that. I actually thought he was going to sign something concerning us, and he didn't. So then I was like, oh, wait, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So then I thought, oh, well, maybe he's not signing an executive order because if another president gets in, he can overturn all the executive orders. So maybe the reason why he's not signing an executive order is because it may not last but 4 years or 3 years or whatever the case. And he would need it to be like passed into law where it can't be changed. So I get that.
That is possible.
Yes. But when they passed this, I was like, wait, what? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you can pass this that fast, what in the world is going on? Like, what is happening? And I think what we need to do is we need to hear from them. What's going on?
Right.
What are you doing? Why is it taking so long? As soon as Biden got into office, they passed some laws about what is it? It's like the LGBTQ community. Yeah. They passed some laws as soon as he got into office concerning them too, about hate. I'm not understanding why.
Right. And then it makes me think about how you told people like, yo, if you don't vote for me, you're not Black.
Right.
Right. So a lot of African Americans probably did vote for him. Right.
Right.
Yet nothing has been done to protect us in any way.
Well, I can't say anything against that.
It's I don't know. That's just my thought process. And it's funny because Dr. Umar Johnson talked about it. Like different people are talking about it. Like he hasn't done anything to help and protect us. And so it's a little disheartening. Not, yeah, it's a little disheartening.
Yeah, or at least if you have a greater plan, right?
Tell us
what's happening or what's going on. What are y'all working on behind the scenes? Because we're still dealing with everything he said that Asians are dealing with right now. We're still dealing with
he
that.
Said this past year, we've had a lot of years.
Right. We're dealing with that. And so sometimes it's really amazing. We are a resilient people.
We are. And we are patient.
We are very resilient. Like we got through slavery. We got through Jim Crow. We got through bombings in all kinds of places. Because you only hear about bombings and massacres in certain ones. But there were other places that were bombed and there were other massacres of our people. Right. We're still surviving.
Right. But it's also the subtle things you do. You get overlooked for a promotion. You are treated differently. Like all those other things in school.
That resiliency, it comes into play with the racism. Right. They think we're stronger. They think we can deal with much more. And we'll be fine.
How much more?
But I'm just saying, I think that even in their thought process, not knowing what their thought process is, but they're like, okay, African Americans been dealing with this for 500 years, so it won't hurt to be dealing with this another year while we work on some stuff behind the scenes. I hope that's what's happening, that they're working on something behind the scenes. Not that that's the thought process, but that also comes into play when you go into a hospital. If you say you have pain, let's say you say it's an 8, the doctor is like, yeah, it's probably a 5. If a white person goes in and says their pain is at an 8, it's at an 8. They're getting prescribed their medicines and gone. If we say we're at a 10, do you really need this medication? You trying to be on drugs. If you go for like you were saying, you apply for a job. You want to pray that you're the only one applying for that job. It's so silly. Because if you happen to apply for a job and you see that there's 6 other white people, what are your chances? And you could be the highest qualified person. But the optics.
Or you get hired because we need diversity.
But they won't put you in the position you're supposed to be in.
I know. You'll be over diversity and inclusion.
Sometimes they'll hire you because, we need the diversity, but you still got all these people over you that your qualifications is over theirs. And then you get into the job and find out that you're making 60 when everybody else is making 120. Like what, you know what I'm saying? So
it's a lot.
I think that there is inherent things within us and inherent things within the system. Y'all can handle it. Y'all can deal with it. Y'all been dealing with it.
Right. Because we talked about
step on your back, you just get back up.
We talked about police reform for a long time, and I haven't really, and I know that's part of the George Floyd bill, but what specifically? You know what I'm saying? Like,
nothing is happening across the board, but there are things happening in different states. But that's not the issue. Is we need things to be across the board. We need all the laws to be the same in every state and every city, so that you don't have these police officers over here doing this, these police officers over here doing this. It was okay to shoot this guy because of the law over here, and it was not okay because of the law over here. All the law needs to be the same concerning force.
Right. And the thing that somebody had brought to my attention one time, right? So let's say, God forbid, we're driving and, we hit somebody and kill them, right? It's no, I'm sorry. It was a mistake. I thought it was my taser.
Right.
You go to jail.
Right.
There's no.
I thought I was pushing on the brake, but I accidentally pushed on the gas. You're still going to be charged for murder.
Yeah.
And it really depends on the state, because there have been sometimes there have been moments where people have gotten off because it was accident. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of states where you accidentally kill someone, you're going to jail. So that's why the laws need to be the same everywhere, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's no like for instance, I was telling one of the ladies that I work with, she was asking me about how I felt about police brutality and all that stuff. And I was like telling her that if you go into different areas, it's different. So for instance, when I came down, I had one bad experience down here with the police. They pulled me, I was speeding. They pulled me over. I mean, they turned on their lights and I immediately pulled over. Well, I immediately pulled over on the highway, and the cop got out and was yelling at me that I was trying to kill him.
What?
Because now I didn't get it at first, but you got to think fast when you dealing with the police officers. Thank God for the Holy Ghost. So he yells, what are you doing? You trying to kill me? Go park. He tells me to go park somewhere
else.
To
come off the highway or something like that. Yeah.
I'm like, where I come from, you pull over immediately. You don't wait
to the nearest exit.
To the nearest safe spot, because if you wait till the nearest safe spot, it looks like you're probably doing something bad in your car while you're looking for the nearest safe spot.
Or you're running.
So the officer, if I wait till the nearest safe spot, the officer can get out very aggressive because now I look like I've done something criminal. So you've got two different cops, two different ideals on how you were supposed to be pulled over. Mm-hmm. I went from one state, live in a whole different state, have no idea. They don't give you like, oh, hey, you moved to Virginia. These are the rules. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You don't get no cultural rules. So anyway, you can accidentally make the bad choice off of the fact that you're not familiar with
the rules in this particular state.
The way they do things.
Or the culture in a particular town.
Culture, exactly. Yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get fussed or you could be in danger because you took too long to pull over. Like that man, the military guy. Yeah. They said he took too long to pull over, and he wanted to pull over into a lighted area. He waited and pulled into that gas station or whatever it was. So he thought he was doing the right thing. No, they were very angry that he took so long to pull over, which was right down the street from where he was at. I mean, it wasn't like far. So I immediately pulled over, and then these cops are mad that I pulled over in a spot that wasn't safe for them, which I wasn't even thinking about them being safe. I'm like, you're safe. You're a cop. You got the lights going. Everybody's going to drive around you.
Well, they had to make that a rule.
What?
That when a cop is put on the side of the road, that you must merge over, because a lot of times cops were getting. What I've understand when I had the federal agent come talk to my class is most cops get killed by pulling somebody over. So somebody, because before it wasn't mandatory, like you do get over, but like everybody don't. And so it's
like we're getting hit by cars or something like that.
Right. And so that's why they're coming more to your passenger side than being on, what I'm saying, because you're closer to the road like that. So there's a rule. I went to driving school, and she was telling like that is a mandate. Like you're supposed to do that. Like it's against the law to keep driving like that. So now we start merging, which I don't think it was before.
Right. So how about who all got that memo?
I guess if you was in driving school.
You asked. Everybody doesn't go to driving school.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm telling you. Asked the question. I'm telling you.
But I'm saying
that's how you get the memo.
So guess what though? So somebody can be pulled over, and then I can be pulled over because I didn't merge over into the other lane. I don't even know that.
Maybe they
There should be a handbook for when you
changes.
when you move into a different community. Here's the handbook. Here's how,
So,
like how they used to do the green book with the black people.
this town, this restaurant allows you to eat here now. So it's like so you're saying like it should be a consistent update.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially too, even if you're like moving into, let's say, a gang area, I feel like you should get a pamphlet. No, I'm so serious.
What should the pamphlet say?
It should say, this is from this street to this street, this street to this street. This is red area. This is blue area.
That's
this
green
is
area.
Black area. You know what I'm saying? So you just...
Who's creating that pamphlet?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. But you brought off the person who pulled into the lighted place.
The government should do it. I don't know.
Okay.
I feel like the government should you should get a, whatever, your city council. I don't know.
Well,
somebody.
Maybe we need to, you can suggest that to them.
Because they don't be looking at me like I'm crazy.
Like I am?
Right.
So
Okay.
It was the ex-officer, was it an officer or a Navy retired that got pulled over?
Yeah.
Right. And so I heard that the officer and the guy who was assaulted because he got sprayed, like they were invited to like the Oval Office to the White House to have a discussion to tweeze it out. Did you hear that?
Mm.
All right, let me look it up, make sure it's factual.
Okay. So they were invited. He was okay. What now?
Well, you don't know the guy's name? They were invited to the office, like the president's office, to kind of deal with it, like talk it out, like it almost like
Both
it was a
of them,
misunderstanding.
both parties.
Yeah.
It was not a misunderstanding.
Relax.
Mm.
What? You remember his name?
Misunderstanding. I'm gonna misunderstand somebody.
No,
all right.
no.
Now see how that was a misunderstanding when it came to the black man. Was he black?
He was black. You're the one he said to put into a lighted area. He was a Navy officer. What was he? Navy? He was an ex-Army?
Let's see. Virginia, and this was in Virginia. This was here where we live. Police officer, pepper spray, U.S.
Yes.
Army soldier, fired. Okay. Did he get fired?
The officer did. I think.
Oh, his name was Karen Nazario. Oh, he was Spanish, Latino. Oh, he's black and Latino.
Mm-hmm.
They probably just thought he was black though by his skin color. I'm just saying. Okay. Yeah. Karen Nazario. So he was reluctant to immediately pull over that stretch of road because it was really dark and he couldn't see. And so as soon as there was a safe place to stop, he stopped, mm-hmm. which was like a gas station right down the street. I can see how that would have been long. They said it was almost a mile.
Okay.
Down the road. So when he stopped, they jumped out the car, guns in his face.
Yeah. Because
he took too long to stop. Even though they pulled him over for no reason.
Oh, it was no reason?
Well, they said that there was no license plate shown, but he had one in the window.
Oh.
They said he had no tag displayed or something like that. So, yeah. He had 2 temporary plates inside the car taped to the rear window on the passenger side. So he really shouldn't have been pulled over at all. But they pulled him over. And then they pulled their weapons immediately.
And I heard once you pull it, you're not supposed to kind of discharge them, like put them back in.
Once you pull your weapon, you're not supposed to put your weapon back.
I think until the scene is, or you left the scene, like, I guess.
I don't know, but they got a lot of crazy rules.
We need a like handbook on the rules, like what to do and don't. Because like I think that's the question I have. So if somebody is resisting, like they're running away from you, is the rule to shoot them, like to kill them if they're resisting?
I don't know. I remember when back in the day when I was younger, you would watch them shows. The police officers would run after people. Yeah. I'm like, are they not running no more? They don't run no more. They don't chase people. I thought there was just a chase
that. But sometimes after a while of running, like people get shot. Sometimes.
I don't know. Running, the only people who run and get shot are black people, though.
I just want to know what the rule is. If you're resisting.
If you're black, don't run. That's the rule. I don't know.
Consuelo, that don't even stop.
I'm just saying. I don't know. There's the different rules for different races.
U.S. police body cam video shows officers berating child age 5.
Oh, child, please don't.
Anyway, so
you causing me trauma right now.
I don't want to, but we definitely want your comments about how you feel. I think there's some good points being made. I think that the president's office should definitely make some announcement about what they're doing, how, what's going on, how they're dealing with what's going on. I think we need to stop. We just need justice. We need change.
Yes, we do.
And I think that is the concern. So let us know your thoughts. We want to talk about the difficult things. We want to talk about things that don't make us happy, that kind of offend us and hurt us, especially when you've been kind of allegedly promised something. It's one thing for somebody to know that you're not going to do anything for me, but to say that you are and we don't see it happen, and it happens quickly in other areas, I think needs to be addressed. So let us know your thoughts. How are you feeling about it? There's a whole lot of things going on about it. Dr. Umar Johnson has talked about it. What is that man's name? Can you go back to that text I sent you? The actor that played the white guy to get married.
Why did I get married?
Yeah, that's the actor that played in there. He was Tasha's husband or something. But yeah,
Michael J. White.
Huh?
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White talked about it like nobody's saying anything. It's like, yeah, we need to stop this. So I think that
no one's speaking against. I mean, no one's counteracting or counter speaking the Asian hate.
Yeah,
like
they do
no hate at all.
Right, like how they do with us. So let us know your thoughts, your concerns. What are you working on individually to kind of get change in your communities, whether it's your House representative, your senator, your governor, whoever, to speak out. He talked about silence says a lot. Silence says that we're complacent, like it doesn't bother us. So let's not be silent. One of the favorite quotes I have is by Zora Neale Hurston that says, if you're silent about your pain, people will kill you and say that you enjoyed it. So let's not be silent, because if you didn't enjoy it, you didn't like it, you would say something, right? That's the thought. So don't be silent about the things that bother you. Definitely pray. We are women of faith, so I'm definitely praying, seeking God, getting wisdom. But, faith without works is also dead. So I think that things go hand in hand. So find out, seek the Lord about what you need to do, what you're passionate about, and do something about it. We wouldn't be kind of at the moment we're at right now if we didn't have all those that came before us that didn't like the things that were happening to affect some type of change. So figure out what it is that you need to do. What you have there?
This is the Black History moment, but I was trying to, I lost it. You know how I do.
Yeah.
I be losing stuff. All right. So Dorothy Dot Counts Scoggins, born March 25th, 1942. She's an American civil rights pioneer and one of the first Black students admitted to Harry Harding High School. This is in North Carolina.
Okay.
After 4 days of harassment that threatened her safety, her parents withdrew her from the school. But the images of Dorothy being verbally assaulted by her white classmates were seen around the world and brought change.
Wow.
So, let's see. I don't know which one to I don't know. Just look up Dorothy Counts. There's a lot of writing here. And I lost my little clip I had of the story.
It talks about what was happening to
yeah,
her.
like a little snippet.
Is that thing that says high school? This didn't happen at this school?
Yeah.
So click on that one.
So in 1956, 40 Black students from North Carolina applied for transfers to a white school after the passing of Pearsall Plan. The family applied Counts Scoggins and two of her brothers to enroll in an all-white school after her father was approached by Kelly Alexander Sr. of her family. They were accepted. When she was 15, September 4th, 1957, that was not that long ago.
It wasn't.
57. A Thursday, Count Scoggins was one of 4 Black students enrolled at the school. She was okay. The 3 other students, Gus Roberts, his sister Gervaude Roberts, and Deloise Huntley, attended schools including Central High School, Piedmont Junior High School, and Alexander Graham Junior High School. Counts was dropped off on her first day of school by her father, along with their family friend Edwin Tompkins. As their car was blocked from going closer to the front entrance, Edwin offered to escort Counts to the front of the school while her father parked the car. As she got off the car to head down the hill, her father told her, "Hold your head high. You are inferior to no one." There were roughly, I know, right? There were roughly 200 to 300 people in the crowd. The harassment started when the wife of John Warlick, an officer of the White Citizens Council, urged the boys to keep her out and at the same time implored the girls to spit on her.
That's disrespectful.
Wow.
Spitting?
Counts walked by without reacting, but told the press later that many people threw rocks at her, most of which landed in front of her feet, and that students formed walls but parted ways as at the last instant to allow her to walk past. Photographer Douglas Martin won the 1957, with the images. After entering the building, she went into the auditorium to sit with her class. She was met with the same harassment. So harassment. She fell ill the following day. With fever and aching throat. She stayed home from school that Friday but returned on Monday. After returning to school, there wasn't a crowd present outside the school. However, the students and faculty were shocked at her return and proceeded to harass her. While in class, she was placed at the back of the classroom and was ignored by the teacher. On Tuesday during lunch, a group of boys circled and spit in her food. Read that. Wednesday. So she pretty much stayed a few days. The father called the superintendent and the police department, shared with them what happened, and they said they weren't aware. The police said that they could not guarantee her protection. After having this conversation, he decided to take her out. It's, yeah.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. I just be like.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Instagram. I said Twitter.
No. Instagram. We're going to get a Twitter account.
Facebook.
Right.
YouTube.
Right.
Send these videos to people that you know.
Yeah.
So they can follow us as well. All right. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.